This video is sponsored by Insta360. All of the beautiful airplane shots you see on this video were shot on my new X4. More on them later. Flying to Oshkosh in my own plane has been a lifelong dream of mine, as it is for so many aviators. Every year, over 10,000 airplanes from all over the world fly into Oshkosh, Wisconsin for a week of camping under our wings and daily air shows. EAA's AirVenture is like a family reunion for the entirety of aviation. The thing is, I live about as far from Oshkosh as you can possibly get in the continental United States, and I have a 1946 85 horsepower Cessna 140 that cruises around 90 miles an hour. So join me on this 4-day trip of tomfoolery as me and my friends 3-ship from Los Angeles, California to Oshkosh, Wisconsin. It is Oshkosh day 1. Hell yeah! Merch.shop.xylafoxlin.com, something like that. So we're gonna push the plane out. It's pretty hot out. We're getting an intentionally late start. We're only gonna fly a couple hours today, and hopefully overnight somewhere near Sedona. But I'm really excited to take you guys on this journey, so.
Let's go!
Woohoo! Clear prep! However, no good trip is without mishaps, and my lovely airplane has kicked us off to a great start by failing the first mags check on run-up. But luckily, I am no stranger to oil-fouled spark plugs on this bird, so I just ripped the cowling off, temp checked all the cylinder exhausts, pulled the problem plug, and yep, so fouled spark plug, you can see it right there. So then it was just a matter of putting my airplane back together, and off we can go. For real this time. Okay, so I caused a spark plug delay. However, it did mean that the gang all met here at the same airport, and now we're gonna 3-ship out. So let's do it! This, by the way, is one of my best friends, Alistair. We met orientation week of college and became super fast friends because I was wearing airplane earrings and he was wearing an airplane t-shirt. And so we went to the Cleveland Air Show together every year, we took a bunch of classes together, and always talked about how someday we might be able to fly into Oshkosh together. Alistair is now going the commercial pilot route. He's a nearly 1,500-hour CFI, but he's not a tailwheel guy, so the deal that we made is that he can do most of the radios and I will do all the takeoffs and landings. And for all the snowflake bros already typing comments about how I must need a dude to help me fly my airplane, I'll have you know that after Oshkosh, I dropped Alistair off at his home in Boston and I flew this thing home coast to coast solo. It's 6 a.m. at Lake Havasu Airport. We just pulled the planes up to fuel, but I will not take off without going to the bathroom, so I'm on a hunt. We departed Havasu nice and early, you know, while it was still only 102 degrees Fahrenheit, because today is our longest, toughest day of the trip. Flying over Arizona in July is tough, and these airplanes have no climate control, and it is hot and it is turbulent, but man, do the views make it worth it. And there is no better way to capture these views than with my brand new X4 from Insta360. A huge thank you to Insta360 for sponsoring this video. These Insta360 cameras are rad, and my absolute favorite way to shoot airplane footage, climbing trips, and anything else where my focus needs to be on what I'm doing rather than framing up a perfect shot. With this one camera placement, I can get these beautiful sweeping views, panning shots of gorgeous canyons, or nearly impossible pseudo drone shots that always cause a million people to ask how the heck I managed to get that shot. The invisible selfie stick captures some epic third-person views that are impossible to achieve with other cameras. And super important for flying, the new X4 has an increased battery capacity to a massive 2,290 milliamp hours, which is 135 minutes of recording time. And I gotta say, I put that to the test, flying through some hot, sunny deserts, and I was really impressed with how long the batteries lasted. It's not like I can just climb out on a wing and change a battery. Also, X4 got even smarter with AI Edit. Between an improved scene and highlight recognition, it can find all the best shots and edit them into ready-to-share videos. If you want the frame to follow that cool action you just did, now there's an option to use dynamic editing to create templates or movements that will follow the action with only the click of a button. If you want to reframe a video yourself, Insta360 has made it easier than ever before with Quick Edit. That gives a smoother shot and dynamic movements that you can move with your phone, drag the screen on your phone, or long press on a subject to activate Deep Track 3.0. And speaking of flying, Insta360 is offering a flying deal on their extended selfie stick. If you're one of the first 25 people to use my affiliate link below for a new X4, you'll get a free $100 extended selfie stick. And this thing extends to nearly 10 feet, so you can get pretty much any angle. And then it telescopes into a nice compact size that you can bring wherever you go. It's lightweight, so you get those cool drone shots without the drone, and this is the best sponsored offer on any X4 video. So use my affiliate link in the description below when you're one of the first 25 people to buy an X4 and get your own free extended selfie stick. Taking off out of Winslow is where the trip gets challenging. It's hot, and Winslow Airport sits at 4,941 feet, but the density altitude was 8,000 and rising, and our terrain is only going to get higher from here. On this leg, our little 85-horse Air Force has got to cross the Continental Divide through Grants Pass into Albuquerque. And because of my spark plug issues yesterday, we only got as far as Lake Havasu last night. So we're reaching the divide at the hottest part of the day, which just cranks the density altitude higher and higher. We'll be crossing right at about 10,000 feet MSL, but the DA is going to be over 15,000 feet, which I guess makes this a really good time for a disclaimer. Don't do this if you don't know what you're doing. Be safe out there. And it's funny, it was a nail-biting, high-concentration hour of turbulence and absolute peak pilotage that honestly I would do again in a heartbeat, only to crest the highest point finally and start relaxing a bit, and then wham! There's the Continental Divide. I don't know what I was expecting, but it not being the highest point and also being this amazing ridge wasn't it. We landed at Double Eagle in Albuquerque for fuel and a quick break before we decided to make one last push for the day and try to get a little further northeast. We took off and diverted around some lightning storms, which, as long as you're careful, can be some extremely beautiful dramatic flying. Just make sure that you always have an out. And our plan was to head to Tucumcari and stay at the historic Blue Swallow Motel. But once we got within range, the ASOS was reporting a 30-knot crosswind. So we aborted and headed for Dalhart, Texas instead. Again, a really great lesson to always have enough reserve fuel to get to the next airport and potentially even another backup.
I got Xyla earlier with, hey, is this an abnormal instrumentation indication pointing at the VSI showing 300 feet per minute up?
No, your phrasing was like, hey, is this broken if it's just been stuck here?
Everything's just a guideline except left traffic. It's just like the pirate code.
We just pulled into the most beautiful hangar I've ever seen. So this is all of us. Look at all these air tractors. When the low wing is higher than your high wing. Dalhart, Texas has been one of my best layovers ever. The vibes are impeccable. What'd you guys think?
I'm glad Chris is driving because I can't.
It is a beautiful morning in Dalhart, Texas. We are pre-flighting, getting ready for the day. I'm adding a little bit of oil. We're gonna go get fuel, and then we're gonna try to make it across most of the country today. So let's see how we do. We took off after a lovely evening in Dalhart, and from here, the flying is pretty easy. It's just all flat. The biggest thing we need to be looking out for is afternoon storms.
Traffic Cessna 72114 turning final runway 20 Lincoln.
I got a surprising number of questions on Instagram when I was posting about being at this airport on my way out, and Grass strips are awesome. Like, grass strips are my favorite strips to land at. And to answer those questions, no, you don't need special permissions or certifications or clearances or anything. It's just like yet another public airport for you to use. And yes, many, many private strips happen to be grass, but there are also so many public grass strips that you can land at. By the way, if anyone was wondering if high-wing airplanes are superior, here is your proof. Cheers! Do your team meetings also look like this? Flight planning under a wing? Adorable. With Skittles.
Very important.
Oh, who ate all the Skittles? Clear prep! And for this leg, I lost Alistair to the pull of Chris's Glass Star. You know, that classic yearning for 180 horsepower of experimental goodness.
Holy shit, I'm so light right now.
And then from here, it was just a straight shot to Wisconsin. We did have to stop for fuel once, and a funny story happened there where I have the slowest airplane of the bunch, and so the three guys were already in the air conditioning at the FBO when I rolled up and started fueling, and I guess the airport manager came in and was like, wow, somebody's wife is trained up real good out there, like she's fueling the airplane. And I just want to brag on behalf of my friends because they were like, no, like she's the pilot, that's her airplane. And I think it's so important when particularly men like stand up for minorities in their hobbies. So thanks pals. Although I do think it would have been funnier if they all raised their hand and was like, she's mine.
Cool, we're 6 minutes out, so we're probably going to switch over to ASOS.
For the last night of our journey, we decided to stop in Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin. It was a big push, 2 days of 9+ hours of flying in a row, but it would put us less than 2 hours from Oshkosh and only 1 hour from the Endeavour Bridge where we'll begin the Fisk Arrival. And it was so worth it. One, because I cannot begin to describe the feeling of joy of finally flying into Wisconsin after this amazing journey. And two, because flying into Prairie du Chien at sunset was so unbelievably beautiful and such an incredible way to end cap the best airplane trip of my life thus far.
And Prairie du Chien traffic system 72114. This is entering the left downwind, runway 11 Prairie du Chien.
And also, I am so grateful for Insta360 for sponsoring this flight and making sure I was able to capture all of these stunning shots for you all. Please do check out their link in the description below. I'll see you tomorrow morning as we tackle the famous Fisk Arrival into Oshkosh. It is Oshkosh Day. We're pushing the fuel. Oh gosh. We're racing all these people, but at least we're in Wisconsin. Let's go! Alistair, what do you think?
I think I want cheeseburgers.
And just like that, we are off and headed to Oshkosh with just the Fisk Arrival standing in our way. Now, for those of you non-airplane nerds who might not know about the Fisk Arrival, it is a wild arrival procedure specific to EAA AirVenture that uses a different set of radio protocol and unique visual landmarks to land this huge influx of airplanes flying in safely. These rockstar air traffic controllers are landing over 10,000 airplanes on 2 runways in a week. It is a beautiful yet terrifying dance that they seem to have perfected over the years.
Flight of 27 140 is over, rip on request 27.
Unfortunately, my airplane's radio audio recording cable fritzed out on this trip, which some of you may have been able to tell by the tragic lack of radio comms in this video. So I don't have any audio of the Fisk Arrival. But honestly, there are so many detailed, amazing videos out there on how to fly it. In this video, just consider it the epic montage at the end of a movie where the director ran out of budget and wasn't able to be detailed in the plot's resolution. And also, enjoy this bouncy landing that I will never, ever, 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 ever live down for the rest of my days. But hey, if the greatest gymnast of all time can bounce her landings now and then, so can I. No matter that I just flew a basic traffic pattern and I didn't do any Euroshenko double pikes on base to final. Ah!
We did it!
We made it!
Nice job, everybody.
We're doing home.
We did it!
Hello, camera. Over the camera.
We're here.
And with the long flight and Fisk Arrival behind us, it's time to enjoy the greatest air show in the world. After Oshkosh, our flight of 3 departed and headed down the Lake Michigan coast towards Chicago, where we managed to get some of the most beautiful formation flight shots that I think I've ever gotten. All thanks to my Insta360 cameras, of course. From there, Brian departed our group and went to Michigan to see some family, and Chris, Alistair, and I continued to Boston, where Alistair lives. So I basically just dropped Alistair off at his house. And then after this, I took my airplane and I flew from Boston to Los Angeles solo, which will be my next video. So if you enjoyed this one, be sure to subscribe so that you see that one. And just a reminder, everything was shot on Insta360, and thank you so much for watching.